Welcome back to March Madness Analysis, another edition of the weekly rankings coming out on a late Tuesday night. I apologize for not posting this earlier in the day or even yesterday. I've just been really busy, a lot going on in the college basketball world as well. A lot of good games this week as we are finishing up the regular season and finishing up conference play. And then conference tournaments began this week, some of the mid-major conferences, and then next week, I believe, some power conferences are going to begin their tournaments. So a lot going on right now. Super excited. And I apologize again. I didn't post last week. Hopefully I'll make that up to you next week with maybe an extra video predicting the conference tournaments. So, trust me, I'm very excited and trying to put a lot of work in to help you and trying to do my best as, it's getting to that point. It's just a busy time of year right now. And, trust me, whenever the bracket is released, you're going to be getting a lot of videos. I've been preparing for this I've had stats that are 3 years old now. I've been using them for 3 years. So, very excited for that. And we're going to try to give you the best coverage possible. So let's get into the rankings for this week. Obviously, Gonzaga at 1. The biggest issue, I think, this week was probably the Michigan-Baylor debate. The AP has Michigan ahead of Baylor. I have Baylor ahead of Michigan. And that's just looking at rankings. Resume. So look at Baylor's resume. Look at Michigan's resume. Michigan has a loss to Minnesota. Baylor has a loss to Kansas. And the Kansas game was a lot closer than the Minnesota game. So that's my reasoning for Baylor ahead of them. They also have six current top 25 wins, and Michigan, I believe, only has 4. I believe they only have 4. So now we get into West Virginia. I have them at 4. AP has them at 6. West Virginia they were one of the 7 teams that didn't lose this week and have some quality wins during that stretch. So they are playing great basketball right now. I'm going to reward them by putting them at 4. Illinois at 4. I have Illinois at 5. AP has Iowa at 5. I have Iowa at 6. AP has Ohio State at 7. I have Ohio State at 13. I believe they lost 3 games this week, if I'm not mistaken. And they're going to be punished for that. So if the AP is actually a snapshot of how teams are playing in the moment, Ohio State should certainly be punished a lot more than they were. Obviously 7 in the AP after losing 3 games this week. And they are currently 13 in my rankings. And that's simply looking at how they played and their resume. So I think they belong at 13. They've got to be lower. Alabama at 8. I have Alabama at 7. Houston at 8. Houston at 9. We're in the same area there. Villanova should be docked a little bit after their loss. Florida State at 12 and 11. We're in the same area. Arkansas at 9 and 12 in the same general area. They're playing great basketball right now. Just they didn't lose in the month of February, and look at the teams they beat. That's a very good stretch for Arkansas. Kansas, the win over Baylor. They jumped up in both rankings. Let's see here. Who else? Creighton. I dropped Creighton way down. What has Creighton done to prove they're a top 15 team? Creighton, actually, did they move up or move down 1 spot? I know they moved 1 spot in this week's rankings after their loss to Xavier. You could argue Creighton isn't ranked, so you're lucky I have them at 24. Same with Virginia. Virginia should be lower. They're on like a 3 or 4 game skid. They're not playing real great. So I'm going to punish them for that. They're at 25 in my pool. Oklahoma State playing great basketball. Love to see the AP respecting Oklahoma State now. Oklahoma at 16. Terrible loss to Kansas State, so that makes me question how good of a team Oklahoma is. I know they're a great team, but that was really bad. Texas at 15. I have Texas at 11. Still like Texas a little more. Could they be a little too high? Maybe. I guess you could flip-flop them with Florida State. Ohio State, I don't think so. I think Ohio State deserves to be lower, especially after their 3 losses this week. Texas Tech at 18 in the AP. I have Texas Tech at 17 in the same area. One thing I would change about the AP is Virginia and Virginia Tech. I would flip-flop those teams. Virginia Tech beat them. They have less losses. And Virginia Tech has wins over Virginia and Villanova. So Virginia Tech should certainly be ahead of them. I have Virginia Tech up at 18. So we have a few newcomers into the pool. San Diego State jumped in my rankings after the sweep over Boise State. Clemson staying in my rankings. Don't know how they're not ranked. Who else? Purdue jumped in. Florida jumped in. And it looks like Colorado jumped in the AP, and Wisconsin's still ranked, and I don't think they should be. So that's about it. That's all I have for this week. Tried to keep it a little brief. Next week, we're going to have a normal rankings, and hopefully we'll get into some conference tournament predictions. And we are getting closer to March Madness, March the 2nd today. So we are now, 12 days away from Selection Sunday. So we're super happy about that, super excited for the bracket reveal and to fill out our brackets. It's the best time of the year. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and see you next week.